That's it. Why, hello there. You may be wondering, why am I wearing sunglasses inside? Well, because we're covering The Matrix. Dun, dun, dun. And yes, I am the one. So let me hack into the Matrix real quick and bring on the group of men that will be joining us. First off, the Matrix fanatic and the inspiration behind this little experiment.
I am Phoenix!
Hello, Agent Smith.
Mr. League.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's good. I like that. Then we also got... Hello, Torchy.
I'm going to enjoy
Time to fly.
Yes.
Mr. Heat.
And then we got one more.
All the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Teladia, where's your sunglasses? We're Matrix. You gotta wear sunglasses.
These are my sunglasses.
But they're not very good ones.
Someone shine a bright sunlight into Teladia's face.
Here, let me activate my solar mutant powers.
Flame on!
There you go. Nice. There you go. Nice. Hey, what's up, Brown Destroyer? What's up, Lawrence? Oh yeah, his comment is the one that we're highlighting at the end of the new intro. So yeah, we're talking about The Matrix, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of Nick's favorite movies of all time.
It's literally my top 5. I feel like this movie, while it was a game changer. This might be somewhat of a hot take, but it is right up there with Star Wars as one of the most important movies of all time.
I agree with you.
It definitely was the Star Wars of its time in terms of like the effect it had on cinema, the art, the evolution of things. It's still talked about today, but I do feel like the film does need, like, while it's still a good film now, some of it has been lost. I think you kind of need to cast yourself back to 1999 in order to truly fully understand and appreciate this film. So, I was in 6th grade when it came out, so I was fully aware of all the stuff that was going on. And yes, a lot of this film is wrapped up in kind of like that late 90s era stuff.
Well, and Lawrence, definitely watch this film. It is a crime against humanity that you've never watched it.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting about it, it's a comic. It's the reason why I was okay with covering this on Comics League Movie Night is because when you watch it, and even if you watch the documentary about it, the Wachowskis were very clear. We were inspired by a lot of comic books when we made this movie.
Books,
so I'm like,
anime. They literally
hired. I count it as a comic book movie. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
They literally hired comic book artists in order to do the storyboard so that they could properly get across what they wanted to do with this movie.
Matrix comics, baby. There you go.
There's comics, yeah.
And they're very interesting. But yeah, it's like a lot of the shots look like comic book panels. A lot of the action is like a comic book. The whole Smith and Neo fight.
There are shots that are ripped straight from Ghost in the Shell. Like when they were pitching this movie to Joel Silver, the person who eventually picked it up, their pitch was literally, they showed him the movie Ghost in the Shell from 1996, and when it was over, they said, "We want to do that."
Yeah, pretty much.
And this film was really a lot of firsts. I mean, not just groundbreaking special effects, but this is the first time that they had Asian martial arts in a American movie, like in a huge way. And also, like we think like, when we hear in Black Panther that like Killmonger's vest was inspired by Vegeta, that's cool. But the fact that like Matrix took so much from anime back in 1999, that is ridiculous. A huge deal.
Yeah, and so watch this movie, but I love how Dave Baylor brings up a great movie. 2 and 3 are underrated too. You notice how he doesn't talk about the other movie.
There is no 4th movie.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. But okay, so first off, I just want to go over. So the plan for this month is we're talking about Matrix 1 now, and then the next 2 weeks we're going to talk about 2 and 3, and then we're going to talk about Animatrix, which is the anime prequel for. Well, it's an anime like compilation, but it does have a prequel.
And on the last week of March, and Jared, I haven't told you this yet, but I don't think you're having a problem with it. This is on the last week of March. The Super Split Screen Brothers are going to be covering Matrix games.
There have been Matrix games?
Yes, there's actually been a couple of them. So there was Enter the Matrix.
Does Saints Row 4 count?
No.
No.
Enter the Matrix will probably be touching upon with Matrix Reloaded because it ties into that. There is Path of Neo, which is like the only really good one. That one came out for PS2 and Xbox. And then there was an MMO called The Matrix Online, which has been shut down for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, we'll watch it. Where have I been? I don't know. I don't know, Lawrence. You miss all these great movies. But yeah, so now, okay. The basic idea of this movie is it's basically the we're in a simulation conspiracy theory thing where we're actually so what happens is that humanity builds robots to do their everyday stuff. They mistreat the robots rebel, they go full Skynet, take over, and then they use us for batteries. Is that accurate?
That's a very broad strokes. I feel like it might be a little bit too broad, but we'll get it more into that backstory when we cover the Animatrix.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's just basically I just have to establish in a nutshell. Here's the background of this. So,
yeah, very broad explanation, but it'll do for now.
So basically, Thomas Anderson is a hacker, and he feels like
where you go by the hacker alias Neo, which, by the way, Neo is an anagram for one.
Yeah, I know. That's really cool.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be doing all this trivia because, like, I'm full of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's part of what this is. So he gets like I think a text message or an email that basically says, hey, basically they're coming for you. And it's like these agents in suits with sunglasses, how you doing, show up and at his work, and he has to escape. But as he's being interrogated, stuff is like getting really trippy. Like his mouth is being like stone shut. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I have that entire scene memorized, and
yeah.
I'm going.
Go ahead.
As you see, Mr. Anderson, we've had our eyes on you for some time. It seems you have been living two lives. In one life, you're Thomas A. Anderson. You have a social security number. You pay your taxes. You even help your landlady take out her garbage. The other life is spent on computers, where you go by the hacker alias Neo and are guilty of virtually every computer crime we have a law for. One of these lives has a future. The other does not. We're willing to wipe the slate clean and give you a fresh start. Yeah. All we ask is your cooperation in bringing known terrorists to justice. I'm sorry, I just wanted to flex a little bit. I wanted to flex a little bit.
Hugo Weaving, baby. So I'm gonna make a claim here, but I think Nick will back me up. This is his Snyder cut. In other words, how I can quote like the entire movie. That's Nick right there with this.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So anyway,
I had a dream, Neo, that you're so sure was real. What if you're unable to wake from that dream? I'm sorry.
Instead of going plot for plot, I just figure we'll just generally talk about the movie because there's so much to talk about in this, and we go plot for plot, it'll take too long. But one of the things I specifically love, you can definitely feel the comic book inspiration of this movie and like the fight scenes, the ridiculousness of the fight scenes. There's people jumping off of walls with mini guns. I'm like, oh, geez.
I mean, a lot of it's about free your mind. I mean, they even like put in a little Wile E. Coyote reference. You know, like the first jump scene with Neo, where like he kind of lands into the concrete. Like that is totally out of Looney Tunes right there.
Yeah, and basically the idea is that if you but basically what wakes him up is that Morpheus, played by Perry White, shows up and it is Perry White. So John Wick meets Perry White, and Perry White basically goes,
"Oh, you have no idea how deep the John Wick Matrix rabbit hole goes." Like,
yeah.
Serious.
So anyway, it's a more morbid time. Nice, JJheat. So anyway,
it's Morpheus in time.
Yeah. It's so Morpheus tells him, "Okay, you can take the red pill, and you'll wake up to all this around you." Go ahead.
I got this, bro. You take the blue pill. Story ends. You wake up in your bed, and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. you whatever you want to see recreated, just ask me.
Yeah. So anyway, so basically, he takes the red pill.
You got me.
He takes the red pill, and isn't essentially the red pill like a tracking program so he can find his actual body?
Well, the Trill was a tracking program, designed to disrupt your input-output location. Wait, what does that mean? It means buckle your seat, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye-bye.
Yeah, so basically he
I'm
wakes
sorry,
up
just
and he's in
coming
like a
back.
pod with the pod people, and he's got like tubes coming out of him. It's ridiculously creepy.
Literally, he goes like,
Yeah, it's really creepy, but super cool. They actually show a little bit of
and
it
then
in
he
the
gets
comics.
flushed.
Yeah, and literally, you may think Nick is joking with his crude jokes about being flushed, but literally, he's flushed on the toilet. Wait, oh, you guys like that's yeah, JJheat, nice one. So anyway, let me go to the other guys. So Teladia, your opinions on of the Matrix?
Great film.
Right?
Right?
A film he's never seen.
No, he's seen it.
I've
Oh,
seen it
well,
multiple
that's incorrect
times.
then.
I did my homework. Before you say something, I've done my homework, so you can't say jack.
Okay, then this instance, then I stand in this one instance, I stand corrected. Congratulations, Teladia, you did the bare minimum. I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
Ooh,
I really enjoyed it, especially the special effects. Oh my god.
They still hold up.
for a movie that came out back then, yeah.
The special effects go really well. And Lawrence Fishburne, oh
Perry White.
yeah, very
Also,
right.
Jared, did you notice something that like a line that sounded familiar in this movie?
All right. Anyone that watches Nick's channel knows that his send off is from this movie.
And my send off is thus: I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. Which is really a multi-layered phrase. It's really kind of a call to action. It's kind of similar to the phrase "You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink." And it's about the search for knowledge. Like, I can show you where to go, I can show you what to do, but you're the only one who can pick up the hammer and start building the house.
Yep, that works. That works.
So basically, I just think it's a perfect way to end all of my stuff.
One is not the hero in the Matrix. That was the point of the Matrix trilogy. Many people don't get that. Interesting. A lot of 90s movies are better than most movies today. Yeah, that's actually really true. And
that is a fact. Can we give him my man?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Where is it? Okay. So, and again, going into the into the crazy special effects and fight scenes, this movie pioneered like slow motion technology, because the way they did the shot where he like goes backwards and the bullets go over him is that
bullet time.
Well, yeah, the bullet time scene. There's a pad behind him, so he just falls back on the pad, and then there are a bunch of cameras that take essentially rapid fire photography all around him, and then they stitch all that together. Actually, go ahead.
In that particular shot, he was on wires.
Oh yeah.
And basically, to give a more detailed explanation of bullet time, it's a series of still frame cameras that they have arranged in a circle. Okay. So they shoot the action, and they did bullet time a couple of times in this movie, and it's basically just you shoot, and then it basically creates a new type of motion. But it's all done using a series of still high resolution still frame cameras. A really revolutionary technique, honestly.
It's kind of interesting. And by the way, Dave, the parallel of this could not have been more true today. But it's kind of funny. Seeing all the slow motion in this movie, it seems like a Zack Snyder movie. I have to bring his name.
About 11 years too early, but yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really cool when you look at how they do this. And fun fact, so what they did is they had a lot of the actors go through like martial arts training before the movie, but Keanu Reeves, his neck was messed up, so he missed a lot of the fighting, and then the fight training he had to do with like an injured neck.
By the way, the martial arts choreography was done by Yan Wu Ping, who is a very famous martial arts choreographer. Like, he did like so many good martial arts movies back in the day. He worked with like Jet Li, Chow Yun-fat. Like for example, he did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you can recognize the style.
Hey, what's up to him? He says, good to see you all. Another good film to cover that came out. Another good film to cover that came out before The Matrix is Dark City.
Okay, okay. Thank you. That is actually an excellent segue for something we need to talk about. So Dark City and Matrix are actually more joined at the hip than than a lot of people realize. So the Matrix actually uses sets from Dark City.
Really?
So like, in the opening scene where Trinity's being chased on the rooftops.
Yeah.
That is a set from Dark City. Like, by the way,
Wow.
if you go and watch, and if you go and watch Dark City, you will see that exact set. It is actually a very similar scene. Like he's getting chased on the rooftops. You actually see kind of similar shots. It's and also, first off, Dark City is a really good movie. I actually own it on DVD.
Of course you
And
do.
it actually deals with like similar themes of like, the world is not what it is and whatnot. Jared, I highly encourage you to watch Dark City.
Look at the private chat, Nick.
Yes, Matrix
First off,
did an asset flip. Yes,
Master
if you wanna
Sergeant's
put
in
that
the
into
house.
modern
What's
terms.
up? And Dave DePillo says the Wachowskis only did the fourth film, so no one else could. They purposely ended the franchise with a bad movie and didn't care about it.
I don't really agree with that interpretation. By the way, I think only one of the Wachowski sisters actually did the film.
Only one, yeah.
And I don't necessarily like. I mean, I do agree. Part of it is kind of a frick you to Warner Brothers because, like, yes,
Thank you for censoring.
Roll the clip.
Please,
What clip?
please, I want to. No.
Okay. It's fine. Go ahead.
Because like if we're going to very briefly touch upon the movie doesn't exist. If you look at the movie, it's obviously kind of a frick you to Warner Brothers. So like, but I really don't feel like it's entirely that. But again, we can just agree to disagree on that one.
But what's funny is that in that movie, they mentioned that Warner Bros. Is making them make another Matrix game.
Because the thing is, Warner Brothers literally said to them, "We're gonna make a Matrix 4 without you or not. So are you in or you're out?"
So now,
yeah, second Warner Brothers.
There you go. I had to.
That is actually very appropriate in this instance.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, screw it. It's kind of funny when JJheat said roll the clip, I knew exactly which one he was talking about. But speaking of which, JJheat, your thoughts on The Matrix?
Cult classic, arguably one of the best of all time. And yet it's slightly edged out Star Wars in terms of technology and innovation. Only slightly.
To be fair, the prequels actually did push a lot of technology forward. Like the prequels were really good.
They did.
The prequels were really important for the adoption of digital cameras. Because remember, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace was shot on film, but the other two were shot on digital. And those movies were actually really important for the adoption of digital cameras. Like they originally really pushed the technology of digital cameras forward. Without the prequels, digital cameras might not have come along for like another 5 to 10 years.
Oh, that's cool. But and again, the way they did space battles and stuff was very innovative. The way they did lightsabers.
Also, Skywalker sound was of course on point. Like I'm sorry, say what you will, but the prequel sound effects are amazing.
Yeah, they sound like a war's going on. Hence with the title. But
hello there,
Jen. I need
Kenobi.
that. I need that.
Kenobi.
I know that.
What you need is you need to separate it into 2 clips. You need the hello there and then the General Kenobi.
Yeah, and then I'll have Darth Maul. Kenobi! I need that. That's so good. But whenever we mention the Kenobi show, I'll play the Darth Maul going, Kenobi!
When we do the Mandalorian, then we can do that.
You need the Emperor doing ironic.
Yeah, I need Darth Plagueis the Wise. I need that because I can quote Darth Plagueis.
You just need like that whole thing and just like.
But anyway,
yeah, that's a discussion for another time.
When you think about it, The Matrix is also kind of a video game movie because it's like the whole concept. So you enter a virtual world and you have like superpowers and you can wreck stuff. That's a video game.
Not the interpretation that I would apply to it, but yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but to me, it's more like if a comic book film and a video game film had a baby and the baby was actually good.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. There are definitely like video games like entering the level, different lives and whatnot. I don't really feel like they fully fleshed out like those video game ideas, but I can definitely see where you're coming from in that regard.
And for you Power Ranger fans out there, In Space was not really space themed. It was digital based, digital video game based. The Super.
Yes, you're talking about Mega Ranger.
Mega Ranger, thank you.
Mega Ranger.
Also, Time Force used bullet time.
Oh yeah, they did. Brown Destroyer says a Matrix trilogy explanation. Oracle was created to give humans feeling of rebel, so that the Matrix, so that the Matrix feels like real world. Engineer created Agent Smith program to give us something to give humans to something to fight against. That's an interesting interpretation.
Well, that's definitely a discussion we'll be having in the next stream where we talk about the architect. But yeah, I mean, there is that speech that the Agent Smith does at near the end of the movie where he talks about like different versions of the Matrix, and he talks about how the first Matrix was a paradise or a disaster, and he says something where like human beings define their existence through suffering, and while at first blush you just want to wipe it like, oh, that's just a nihilist way of viewing things, but like, I don't know, the older I get, the more I kind of see like, he's kind of got a point.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All part of growing up.
Yeah, exactly. Nice glasses. Thanks, Tavia. We're on theme this week. But yeah, exactly. But let's see. So the 13th Floor is another movie that was compared to The Matrix. I've never seen it, but
there's actually a Twilight Zone episode from the 80s that I hear is very Matrix-like. I've never actually seen it, but I've heard it discussed.
And again, I mentioned Saints Row 4 because that is pretty much the Matrix, but ridiculous in that you enter.
Yeah, they're satirizing it for sure.
Yeah, you enter a simulation in a spaceship, and you have superpowers, and then you take down bad guys in the simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, really? I see. Immediately after I saw The Matrix for the first time, I was like, I know what they satirized. But what's interesting is that they also make a ton of like comic book references. I mean, this is probably, I think this is the movie too. But when Neo is flying, the controller's like he's doing his Superman thing again.
That's from the second movie.
Yeah.
That is from the second movie.
Still, but So let me ask you this, Nick. Give us all, give us some more juicy trivia. This is part of why I had you on this.
Okay, so basically, the character of Switch, all right, now was originally meant to be trans, and because in the Matrix, there's this concept of the residual self-image, which is the digital projection of your digital self. It's like the idealized version. It's why when Neo comes out of the Matrix, he doesn't have hair, but as soon as he's back in the Matrix, he's got his hair back. You know, stuff like that. So Switch was, I think, supposed to be either a man or a woman in one world, and then the opposite gender in the other world. You know, that was like the whole concept of Switch, but they wouldn't allow them to do that, and I think that's kind of a tragedy.
And by the way, real quick, JJheat has a comment in here. He says, would you rather watch the infamous Star Wars Christmas special, She-Hulk, Velma, or rewatch Reloaded? I'm going to change this. Would you
Reloaded is actually good, and I will die on that hill.
Yeah, I'm going to change this, Nick. Would you rather watch the infamous Star Wars Christmas special, She-Hulk, Velma, or watch Resurrections?
The holiday special, because at least holiday special is the holiday special is so bad it's good. Just plain bad or mortifying.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, and Nick has expressed this to me off stream, Matrix 4 is the Star Wars sequel trilogy to him.
It is the last Jedi of Matrix.
I would argue it's worse, but that's a separate conversation.
It is the She-Hulk of Matrix.
Let me ask you,
okay,
why
fair.
is it so bad? Let me ask you about that. Why do you hate it so much?
Do we have to have this discussion now?
We'll have it another time. But yeah, that's
the fans crave it.
They reloaded Matrix 4 with blanks. Yeah, that gets on my man.
One.
That gets on my man. That is fantastic. Actually, you know what? I got a better one for you. I got a better one for you, Master Sergeant.
No pulse.
No pulse.
As in the case of the creative decisions in this film. Oh, by the way, and one more, and this is from the Phoenix Press to the people that created Matrix 4. Yeah, pretty much. But yes, thank you. I had to do that one. My mouse was like hovering above that one, so I was like, yeah, I gotta do it. But so one of the things, okay, so now that's a movie. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
we actually covered Pacific Rim the other time. So
last week, yeah. So
I watched Pacific Rim.
what'd you think?
Good film.
Yes, thank you. We
What
told
about
you.
the
Okay, now
sequel?
we can cancel the apocalypse now that he's watched it.
Okay. Okay, well, if you're gonna say that,
Today we face the monsters that are at our door and bring the fight to them. Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
thank you, Nick. So anyway, back to the Matrix. Jesus. So, and another interesting thing that this movie really deals with is the concept of free will, because are we really like making our own decisions, or is someone controlling us, or
Yeah,
in a simulation? Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
To expand upon that, let's go take a look at the Oracle scene, okay?
Mhm.
So the Oracle is basically this all-wise knowing program who's friendly to resistance, who tells you your destiny, gives you like a prophecy. Like Morpheus was that he would find the one. She told one to Trinity, but we don't know that right now. We'll keep that kind of in the bag for right now. And then we go in. It's just this like this old grandmother that like everyone just wants. It's like everyone's favorite grandmother. And he's like, oh, and don't worry about that vase. He's like, what vase? And he immediately knocks over the vase. He's like, that vase. And then she kind of points to the Latin, which is know thyself. And what I really find, like, she literally is doing like all these like fake things, but it's like, what I'm about to tell you. And then she kind of pauses, and then she waits for Keanu to say, but I'm not the one. And then she says, you've got the gift, but it looks like you're waiting for something, So she doesn't tell him he's the one, but she does to the audience,
Mhm.
And I just find that really interesting to where she's not telling him jack freaking squat. He's got to decide for himself what he is.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Matrix, it's for Tevi says, call me crazy, but actually, oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Woo!
To answer your question, JJheat, Captain Marvel.
Wow.
You would rather watch. Ooh.
He hasn't watched Captain Marvel yet. He doesn't know how crappy that movie is.
That makes it even worse, by the way.
But speaking of that,
Captain Marvel didn't actively crap on my childhood favorite movie. Like, I've been waiting for a Matrix 4 for over a decade, and we got this crap.
yeah.
Also, can you give me props for censoring myself, please?
Yes, thank you. You do get props. And I remember seeing the trailer for Matrix 4 in a marketing survey that was sent to me, and Warner Brothers sent me a cease and desist to talk about it on Twitter. Oh, wow.
Ironic.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Teladia.
Do you see what I put in the private chat?
What Teladia put in the private chat, he said, the twos were the ones.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense, though.
Think about it. Think about it.
We're number one and you're number two. I don't know what that means.
That means basically that we're the ones, we were the ones, the chosen one.
Well, if you're on a Comics League panel, you are the chosen one because I chose you.
Oh no, now I've gone cross-eyed.
You gone cross-eyed from watching Matrix 4.
Or at least thinking about it.
Yeah. So another portion of this movie that I definitely again, it goes into like the free will thing. Do we actually have free will, or are we just acting according to a set of commands in a computer? And
yeah, the film really boils down, in my opinion, it's all about choice.
Mm-hmm.
Choice is really the defining theme of everything in this film, and even all the films, honestly.
Yeah, what's cool is that in the regular world, okay, so humanity are on these hover ships, and they're going along, and they're going in underground tunnels, because when you go outside, Nick, do you want to explain to the audience what happened to the Earth's surface?
Black everywhere, scorched earth, stormy sky. All right, we do not know who started the war. We do know that it is us who scorched the sky. They at the time they lived on solar energy, and the thought was that without that source of power, they would be no more. Yeah, like just
when you
how
watch
desperate-
Animatrix, it's humans that started it.
That's
Yeah, but you gotta remember, from Morse's point of view, he doesn't know because
Mhm.
like there's a thing where it's like, we don't know what year it is. You know, it's closer to the year 2199. You know, like because so much history has been lost. You know, there's fragments, and also you find out later that this is technically the 6th revision of the Matrix, so it could be 2399 because like I think the wars actually happened in the mid 2000 like 2050 or something.
Oh no, we're approaching it. Oh no,
Mm.
I survived Judgment Day.
If we hear a story about a Roomba that kills its owner, that's when you know you'll be plugged in the Matrix within a year.
And then I'll be like, oh no, no.
Oh,
And,
oh no.
That's a reference
Oh,
to the Animatrix,
yeah.
by the way.
and they're the politicians trying to nuke everything because that's their first opinion.
I mean, the first idea was build a coastal wall out to the Jaeger cell.
Yeah, we all know how that worked.
Well, at least
Wait a
X-Men
minute.
has Krakoa.
Yeah. Speaking of,
Please don't
of the
reference
Matrix,
that bad storyline.
speaking of the Matrix, one of my favorite scenes from the first movie was Neo and Trinity fighting the agents. Yeah, the fight scenes in this are freaking dope, and I love where they go. He's the one in that fight scene after Agent Smith shoots him. He gets right back up, and he's deflecting all the punches.
Yeah, I mean we get hints of it. I think the first real step that Neo makes is where he says to Trinity, "I'm not the one, but I believe we can save him." Neo believes he can save him. It's about belief.
Thank you, lad.
And probably like the literal turning point of this movie. They literally do where like you see the agent and it's like, Neo, run, because like you just throw in your head, don't try and face an agent. They're impossible to beat. You know, you see Morpheus try to beat him. He couldn't. He got his butt kicked. But Neo turned around and they said, "What is he doing?" And he's like, "He's beginning to believe."
Yeah, because really what happens, the way I took it is you have to believe you're the one. You don't just automatically go, okay, he's the one, he's our savior. No, you also have to. There's a portion of belief. Yeah,
Nick,
exactly.
There is portions of it. We'll
chat.
get when we discuss the finale. But you know, there is kind of other portions of it.
But yeah, but that's really and that's the thing I love about this movie, because I like movies that have all these different layers to them, and like every time you rewatch them, you notice certain things. Like I just watched Zack Snyder's Justice League for the 12th time, and I still notice new stuff. But by Nick, over under, how many times do you think you've watched The Matrix?
Considering I've been watching it since like 2001 when I first got the DVD. How many times have you watched Snyder Cut?
12.
Probably double or triple that, because like,
oh jeez,
you gotta realize there was a time where I watched it literally every day, or like I just go to Pacific fight scenes and just analyze them.
True.
Remember,
True.
Matrix has been around for over 20 years. I've had more time to watch it than you.
Matrix is about choosing to do something because there's always a possibility of changing things despite defeat, just like the real world in the Matrix. It's kind of like Flashpoint in that way, because it's like because Barry going back in time to save his parents has those real like consequences of, okay, the world is now screwed at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I love is the Agent Smith monologue with Morpheus is when he said, I hate this place, this reality, this prison, this whatever you call it. It's the smell.
Okay, question about that scene where where like he talks about like where he tries to classify the human species and he classifies us as a virus. What do you think? I mean, it's kind of a philosophical take. I just invented a word, I guess. What do you guys think about philosophical? Thank you.
No
what do you guys think about what he said? Do you think there's some truth to that statement, or do you think that's kind of more of an edgelordy view of the world?
It could be like he means parasite, because yeah, we live off the earth and contribute very little back to it. So I guess you can kind of factor into that.
I mean, if you want to take the most literal baseline definition of a virus, you can apply that to humanity. I just don't think it's really true once you kind of factor in nuances, which everyone seems to forget nuances and when making these like bold, brash claims.
Mm-hmm. What about you, JJheat? What do you think? And by the way, Matrix trilogy. If you go to the group chat, Nick.
Actually, both. See, I'm actually a prequel trilogy defender.
Me too.
I actually say prequel trilogy because like all three of them are actually pretty good to pretty decent.
What's up, Jaded?
The Matrix Revolutions, while still pretty decent, is a bit of a noticeable drop off from the first two. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's just like the first one is a 9, second one is like an 8, and the third one is like a 6.
What about the fourth one?
Negative 9,001.
It's over 9,000.
Yep, he got it. He got the joke.
Agent Smith just wants to be free. Yeah, exactly. We are in the Matrix. Well, if we are, then someone was well, if we are, then whoever was in charge of 2020 was a real a-hole.
Wasn't that everyone in 2020?
No, but I mean, whoever like sent all the crap we went through in 2020.
I mean, don't you realize 2020 was a balance patch? It was an in-game event. That's what 2020 was.
You know what it was?
Was a server-wide in-game event. It
was Gotham Knights on launch day.
It's any Bethesda game on launch.
Too soon, Jared. Too soon.
Oh yeah, I had to. I actually like Revolutions more than Reloaded. A more satisfying movie.
I mean, yeah. It's not a bad movie. I think
Revolutions is 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy 3 a lot more. I think the whole Zion thing of the Zion scenes were kind of creepy, like that whole night party thing. I was like,
But I by the way, that was the first time that a very young Nick saw boobies.
Of course.
I guess you could say it was.
We all have that one movie. Mine was Terminator.
It was my awakening. I was resurrected.
And by the way, Nick, the answer to this is Terminator Genesis. I'd rather watch Terminator Genesis than Matrix 4.
Oh my god! I've actually Terminator
Genesis was not that bad.
It's bad.
Dark Fate was
bad.
Dark Fate
was an active, it was active. Like Terminator Genesis, they were trying to do something new within the framework of Terminator. Dark Fate was just a lazy fu.
Well, Jaded, they kind of dealt with this, and I think it's either 2 or 3 because remember, Agent Smith uploads into someone.
Actually, no. Well, okay. We'll talk about this when we talk about Resurrections. But basically, what happens is, remember the Oracle allowed herself to get assimilated but he assimilated both Sati and he assimilated the Oracle. And just you remember, in the crater was Sati. I think it was Sati who was in that crater. So the body he used was Sati. So, and at the end at the last scene, the architect says to the Oracle, "You played a dangerous game." So my theory, this is just a theory, a movie theory, is that basically the Oracle allowed herself, because she had code in her system that basically allowed the machines to initiate a full-on reset of the Matrix. Also, remember, the one has code that he needs to integrate with it to activate the reset. And it was only after he assimilated Neo that they were able to activate the reset.
Mm-hmm. And Tevia asked a quick question. I'm just wondering if you guys played the Matrix movie, the Into the Matrix movie, Into the Matrix game.
Time game. Yeah,
I played Enter the Matrix. It's fun, but it's really janky.
I love Jaded. I love Jaded. My theory is the movie screwed up. Shots fired. It's all good, Jaded. All good. And Zion City, where the
Path of Neo was really good.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, JJheat asked, who would win with Skynet or the Shi'ar Empire from X-Men the animated series?
Well, the Shi'ar Empire, Well, no, the Shi'ar Empire is intergalactic, while Skynet is just planetary. So
Yeah.
so Shi'ar Empire.
I'm going
Shi'ar
Shi'ar because
Empire-
when you look at
The
their
Shi'ar Empire is like is not only just interplanetary, they're intergalactical. So like they have access to weaponry that are like 3 or 4 orders of magnitude better than anything Skynet
Not only
can
that,
even dream of.
just send Gladiator. He'll tear the Terminators apart. Gladiator is Superman level.
Relatively.
Relatively. I'm saying he's one of the characters that is considered the Marvel version of Superman.
I mean, honestly, put any superpowered individual, like put Luke Cage in the Terminator universe, he would be unstoppable.
Put Batman in the Terminator universe, I guarantee you the war be over.
You know, like just imagine any character with any type of like durability or strength, and they could just rip through everything.
Now, here would be a cool crossover: Cyborg and Terminator.
I never said it would be much of a fight.
I mean, basically, you're just asking for a repeat of RoboCop versus Terminator, which actually did happen in the comics.
Now, Aliens versus the Shi'ar Empire, that would be decent.
That would be
okay.
So basically, the Brood.
That actually would be. Oh my God, Marvel needs to make that.
What I want to see is the Brood versus Aliens, because they're basically the same thing, but it would be Aliens because the asteroid blood. Heck, we had Superman versus the Terminator. Yeah, exactly. You had Batman and Superman versus Aliens and Predators, and the Aliens and Predators don't team up, by the way. But anyway, back to this movie.
I mean, the Predators and the Aliens are diametrically opposed to each other. The Predators are the Aliens are the ultimate prey, and the Predators are the ultimate predators.
Yeah,
that's
and
the whole thing.
Nick, did you play or see gameplay for the Unreal demo for the Matrix?
Yeah,
I have not played it. I tried to get it up and running on my computer, but it needed like 100 gigabytes of like space, and I'm like, I'm not putting in that much just to play a freaking demo.
Here's my problem with it. It has some action scenes, but the majority of it is just walking around a city.
To be fair, it's a tech demo. Like, what do you expect?
But they have action scenes in. Allow me to do more than just walk around. Allow me to do more than just walk around and drive cars around the city.
Again, it's a tech demo. For UE5. It's a tech demo. It's made to show off Unreal Engine 5. They specifically labeled it as a tech demo. They gave it away for free.
And Jade,
like, what can you expect?
But by the way, that proves they can make a decent Superman game with Unreal Engine.
Oh, did you see some of the mods they did for that where like they actually put Superman in that city?
They put Flash in there, dude!
To be fair, there's Superman and Flash in GTA 5. You need to play some of those mods for GTA 5, bro.
I have it on Xbox. I don't have it on PC.
Well, get it on PC. It's cheap.
I'm getting a gaming PC, so either way it's going to work. So
if you get a gaming PC, you have to get GTA 5. We can play together.
The Matrix is the first franchise that tried to tell a cohesive story across multiple mediums. Enter the Matrix was intended to be just as important to the franchise as the films. Now, okay, I agree with you on that.
Okay, when it comes to like the Matrix 2, the Matrix 1 wasn't intended as a transmedia franchise. The Matrix 2 was, because he's talking about Enter the Matrix. Enter the Matrix directly ties into the events with Reloaded, to the point where when they're shooting the movie, they actually shot scenes specifically for the game, and there are characters that like you only see like 1 or 2 frames of. They actually see more of in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Also, by the way, the Animatrix, actually, Final Flight of the Osiris, is technically a prequel to Enter the Matrix. Because
really?
Because in the beginning of the Animatrix, and Enter the Matrix, because like Enter the Matrix stars the Niobe, you know, Jada Pinkett Smith's character, and she's basically trying to get the transmission, like in the beginning of the I'm going bouncing off. So in the beginning of the places, she says these thermal scans, you know, confirm the transmission from the final flight of the Osiris. Okay. That is said in the beginning of Matrix Reloaded. And now you'll be saying that. The mission that she did to go get those logs is the opening to Matrix Reloaded. And the final flight of the Osiris is actually in the Animatrix. And if you play Enter the Matrix, they actually play clips from the Animatrix in there. Also, going one more level deeper in the rabbit hole, the same people who made Final Flight of the Cyrus, the same team who made Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Awesome. And by the way,
Sorry,
JJheat says
I had to slip that one in.
awesome. JJheat has a good one. Sentinels versus Skynet. Sentinels.
Sentinels would win in the end.
Sentinels.
Yeah, Sentinels have more arm, like because like the Terminators, they just have resilience and like their plasma pistols. The Squids have like sheer numbers; they would decimate an army of Terminators.
And the Sentinels. Here's the other part: the Sentinels mimic mutant powers.
No, wait, are we talking? No, I think he's talking about the Matrix Sentinels.
Oh, okay. In that case, still the Matrix Sentinels.
And honestly, let's just kind of touch on that real quick. Even if it was the X-Men Sentinels, they would still win.
Yeah, still win. That's what I thought. But still, it turns out the Terminators are the weakest robots. A question. Yeah, we said that. We said that already. And then they can make another Matrix game in Unreal. Yes, that would be dope.
I mean, I would like that. I would probably play it. I just don't know if there's as much of a neat desire for it.
She should have just called. She should have just look at Dave. This is getting on my man. She should have just called Will Smith to slap the machines. In fact,
fun fact about you mentioned Will Smith.
Oh, by the way, Nick, keep my wife out of your effing mouth.
No, fun fact about Will Smith in The Matrix. He was actually the first choice to play Neo in The Matrix, and he famously turned it down. That is a well-known fact. That Will Smith was this close to playing Neo in The Matrix.
And isn't the Matrix a sequel to Terminator? It seems like it. No, it's not, but I'm pretty sure he's trolling at that point.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure that there are some Terminator elements, because after Terminator came out, you notice how all these AI movies were instantly, okay, the AI becomes self-aware and kill us.
I mean, that happens when any big thing happens. I mean, the amount of, I really say like 99 to like 03, 04 is what I call the post-Matrix era. It's where everyone's ripping off the Matrix. Like Charlie's Angels, there's a bullet time scene. Kung Pao Enter the Fist, which is like a parody of bad martial arts dubs. There's literally a bullet time scene where the martial artist is dodging, the cow is like using its udder to spray milk, spray its milk at it.
Yeah,
it's really hilarious if you watch it.
And also you had like in like the X-Men movies, they were all wearing black leather.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
Yes, I would. I was just adding up that clip.
To be fair, I'd argue like the whole black leather trend really started with Blade. Because like Blade is kind of what's really the progenitor of that kind of look.
By the way, like, we will be covering the Blade movies eventually because I haven't watched them.
Some mother.
You've never watched the Blade movie.
Wes told me that exact same thing when I first had him on.
Why?
Put your glasses back on. You're still in the Matrix. I don't know. Some of the Terminator prototypes are hard to kill. Yeah, but when you compare them to like these Sentinels or even the X-Men Sentinels, yeah, I'm like, it's not going to turn out that well for the Terminators.
Yeah, one word: Magneto.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I'll just say this: if it's one Sentinel versus one Terminator, the Terminator will win. Without a doubt. But the thing about the Sentinels is they're formidable, but they also have numbers, like just sheer numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like a swarm, like let's say you have an army of Terminators versus a swarm of Sentinels. Sure, you can shoot like let's say you shoot down even 10,000 of them. There's still 1,000 times more that are still swarming you and trying to get you.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of interesting. Remember the movie Jupiter Ascending, also done by the Wachowskis, and very much you can see the Terminator part in there.
They actually had a pretty good film career. Like they actually did a bunch of other movies, like Speed Racer, which, by the way, we need to cover on the show at some point.
Yeah, because that is legit like one of my favorite movies.
V for Vendetta. That is actually a comic book movie. Like that is,
it's I've
watched
it's
V for
Vertigo
Vendetta.
project.
Yeah, it's a Vertigo comic done by Alan Moore. It 100% fits the criteria.
Yeah, and by Terminators would overcome Magneto's magnetic field. They didn't in the No, because he would crush them. Like do this and make a fist. Anything metal, is not going to fare well against Magneto. I got news for you on that. Wolverine is the example.
Yeah, like unless the Terminators are made of like plastic and non-metal compounds.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like, yeah, that's not going to work out that well for the Terminators. Yeah, Speed Racer is very underrated. Yes, visually one of the most stunning movies I have ever seen.
And I'd say it's probably the best anime adaptation because it adapted it all nearly 1-1.
Yeah,
That's not saying much.
Oh, here's a question: Neo versus John Constantine.
See, here's the thing about any versus thing when it comes to Neo. You have to put Neo in the Matrix in order for him to have a chance.
And if you have to do that, it's not going to... How about this? Matrix Neo versus Superman.
Matrix.
Superman.
Okay, now the way we're going to do this is that JJheat and Teladia said the Matrix, and Nick, you said Superman. Now, Nick, why Superman?
I'm just gonna have like base form Superman. I'm not getting any of the crazy forms in because
just
that's
basic Superman.
Superman is just as fast as Neo, has just as much of a reaction time. I might even say he's slightly faster. He is at least 10 times stronger than Neo. Okay. Heat vision. Like Neo has shown strength. Like one time he just lifted a whole thing, but he's never shown the feats of strength that like base form Superman has. Like I would argue all it would take would be one punch.
One punch man.
From Superman.
One punch!
Now, all right, now Teladia.
Yeah, in this instance, Superman would be One Punch Man.
Yeah, exactly. So Teladia, why do you say Matrix?
Because Matrix has something is very, very special compared to Superman. And
you're saying Superman's not special?
Well, Superman's special.
We're all special according to our moms. We're all special.
I thought the specialness was the friends we made along the way.
But Superman ain't the chosen one, is he?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If your whole ability to fight depends on you being inside a simulation, yeah, it's not good.
I'm just going to quote Death Battle here, okay?
Okay.
Like, and I'm going to put Neo into the place of Goku. Neo is a character that's designed to break limits. What can he do against a character that literally has none?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Suck it, DBZ fans. Superman can easily beat Goku. Fight me.
Thank you. And by the way,
we just started a war with the internet.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah,
fine, engagement. Bring it on.
And by the way, Nick, I have another one. If Batman fought Neo, you know what he would do? Neo would go into the simulation, and then Batman would just pull.
I mean, if Batman is in the simulation, my money's on Neo. I think in that instance,
no, I'm saying
Neo would win.
I'm saying Batman would know that, but he's like, I'm not going to go into the simulation. As soon as Neo's in there, he's going to be like, okay, no, we're good.
Batman wouldn't just pull the plug like that. That's like Batman. I mean, Batman like will kill in self-defense and whatnot, but like he won't murder. I'm sorry, pulling the plug like that is straight up murder.
Or not murder. He would just like probably. Isn't there a way that they can like pull them out of the simulation in emergencies?
No,
collateral damage.
They have to get to a landline. They have to get. That's why even though they had cell phones, they couldn't exit from there. They had to go to a landline. Which, by the way, I love like this. Like, oh, the reason we don't see landlines anymore is so operatives can't escape.
That's good. They can't explain. I like that. The only thing I really found disappointing about the sequels is that Neo felt nerfed compared to how his powers were described in the first. Yeah, because they kind of made him out to be like Dr. Manhattan in the first one, and the second one he was basically Superman.
Or not even that. They had him bleed. You see, he is just a man.
Yeah, but exactly. And Tehillim says Superman over Neo because the machines in the Matrix wouldn't be able to penetrate his skin to get him a part of the Matrix. That's true, though. How would they get him in?
Oh, unless it was like something that went over his head, you know, and then like that's how they got him in.
And no, he wouldn't, because here's the thing: you gotta understand. is that they need to download programs into Neo to make him be able to fight Superman. Superman fights normally in the Matrix. He doesn't need anything. I love Superman, but I think wait. I got a question for him. Who would win, Neo or John Kent Superboy?
Oh,
Neo, just because Neo
I know,
isn't...
but I want to see what Tevye
Neo.
says.
No, I want to see what Tevye says.
And unless the machines discovered kryptonite. Okay, that's the only realistic way that they could put him in the Matrix.
I got one for you. What if Ultron got into the Matrix and they sent Agent Smith to fight him?
Game over.
Oh, are you asking me who would win, Agent Smith or Ultron?
In the Matrix.
I'm going Ultron on that one.
Ultron.
I don't know. I think, especially if Agent Smith has the hordes, imagine, and then Agent Smith assimilates Ultron.
It'd be a close fight. It would be a close fight.
It'd be a close
my
fight.
money's on Agent Smith.
But dude,
because remember, Ultron, while powerful, the Matrix is literally Agent Smith's domain, especially if he has like the hordes. Like, just to hold down that instance of Ultron. Like, sure, there's probably other Ultrons out there, but like, just imagine he assimilates that instance of Ultron. Imagine that.
And here's an interesting thing here. Dave the Imperial says the machines would use a Black Mercy to plug him in. That's a good point that we didn't really consider with Superman. They do have the Black Mercy.
What would you give?
There you go. Damn it, you got me. As much as I like John Kent, his little 10-year-old self, I don't see him winning against Neo. I knew it. I knew I could get him to admit that. Well, here's another one. Brainiac.
Okay. Somebody like.
I say Brainiac wins.
Brainiac.
Yeah, Brainiac has been shown to be smarter with computers than Ultron. Like, he's definitely more experienced. It would be close, but I think Ultron would win. Though,
no, we're talking about Brainiac versus Agent Smith.
I think Brainiac, but it's extremely close.
Yeah,
so close that it might go either way.
Brainiac versus the Architect. Now, Nick, who is the Architect for the people that don't know?
Again, that is something we'll discuss in the next week.
Yeah. But
to answer that question, actually, I'm going to say the Architect, because the Architect is probably a lot like he is a thing that is probably a lot older than Brainiac, and I would say, plus honestly, this fight would probably take place in the machine's domain, so it's like the Architect would have home field advantage.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say the Architect, just because home court advantage, and you'd have the machines on his side.
And Tevye says, how about the Transformers versus the Sentinels? Can you imagine an Autobot or a Decepticon turning into a Sentinel?
My name is Optimus Prime.
It really depends on how you set up this fight, because the Sentinels just overwhelmed by numbers. It's a swarm.
I got it. Really here's an interesting fight: the Sentinels versus Unicron. Unicron, yeah, but I'm saying it would be kind of cool because I want to.
They hear Orson Welles' amazing voice, and they stop because they're in awe of such an amazing voice.
Welcome, Megatron. I think the voice from the original 1980s movie is my favorite Unicron voice.
You mean Orson Welles?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Orson Welles. You realize Orson Welles did the voice of Unicron in that movie, right?
Yeah.
And that was like one of his last roles.
Yeah, Dr. Doom versus the Sentinels from the Matrix.
Again, the problem with the Sentinels is numbers. Is they just have the numbers, just a number swarm.
Yeah. Is Dr. Doom experience fighting like thousands of enemies at once? If we're talking God King Doom, then God King Doom because he's got God powers. But
doesn't he have an army?
By the way,
Doombot?
the Kaiju versus Sentinels, just bring out Leatherback, have him activate his EMP. They're all dead.
Yeah, there you go. All you need. That's why Batman versus the Sentinels, he would immediately go EMP. Done.
I will say Magneto versus Sentinels. Magneto would probably win.
Oh yes, I don't think that would be a fight. I really don't think that would be that much of a
Also,
fight.
any electricity user like Static, Black Lightning, even the Flash, honestly, might have a chance against the Sentinels.
Wonder Woman.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Look at it this way. It would be a
Thor
dope
could probably
fight.
beat the Sentinels. Thor could
So-
probably have a chance.
So it probably could. Aquaman can like short out the Sentinels with water.
Uh,
Nah.
Mera, I would give it to the Sentinels, not just because I don't like Amber Heard, but because there's no water on this earth for her to use as a weapon.
the
Unless you
problem
can use
is,
oil.
here's basically the Sentinels would capture Mira, they plug her into the Matrix, and then there should be an endless loop of her waking up every day, finding out she crapped the bed.
No, it would be a repeat thing. She would be seeing what happened to Flashpoint Mera from first person. You all know what that is. All right, so Brown Destroyer says Architect only won in the Matrix universe over humans because there weren't any metahumans. Brainiac would beat everyone in the Matrix universe because there are no metahumans. No, but here's the thing: if Brainiac fights them, I gotta go with Nick on this one. If Brainiac fights the Architect in the Matrix, it's the Architect.
Not only is it the Architect, but in this instance, the Architect would have the backing of the entire machine race. So, like,
Yeah.
the entire system, like, not only would it be the Architect, but the entire system of the Matrix is working against Brainiac. Well, Brainiac is powerful. He's at a
not-
disadvantage because Architect has home court advantage.
And I've read stories where one of the ways that they've beaten Brainiac is they've overwhelmed his systems, and that happens actually fairly easily. But Tabia asked, Dr. Doom inside the Matrix versus the agents. Doom.
I think Doom would be smart enough to basically get Matrix powers while still being plugged in the Matrix. I think he's like that smart and like that capable. Like, he's smart enough to like not like unplug himself to where like even though he's still plugged in the Matrix directly, he can still like do all those powers. Like, I think he's smart enough.
All right, Master Sergeant, I have to say this because you brought up that name.
Why did you say that name?
All right, I have to tell this joke. I've been holding on to this one for a long time.
That's what she said. Go on, Nick. I'm sorry.
Joss Whedon, George R.R. Martin, and Stephen Moffat walk into a bar. Everyone you ever loved or know dies.
I wonder if For the Man Who Has Everything inspired The Matrix. Could have, honestly, because
Could
that
have.
was
Possibly.
and there were very oh boy, here we go. Nope, it would be the agents in this case, agents, baby. Because here's the thing, Tevia, you admitted earlier that the agents could beat John Kent, and if they could beat the Kryptonian, Damien ain't doing anything.
Especially if we're talking about like Agent Smith in Resurrections, who basically was Neo's equal in terms of power.
Mr. Kent! I had to. Brainiac also has a machine race. Yeah, but he's going into the Matrix. Again, if he's going into the Matrix, he's screwed.
Yeah, like if he's interfacing with that system, he has the machines have the home court advantage. That's kind of like that's the difference.
Yeah.
Also, Brainiac has been defeated before. He's defeated all
that
the time.
way by overwhelming his system. So that's his weakness. And by the way, if Dr. Doom won, he would so end up ruling the machines. It would be Doom World. So now I want to talk a little bit about the comics. I haven't read through all of these, but I want to talk about like the expanded lore because a lot of this is like really cool because a lot of this gets into like the perspective of people in the machine versus out, people that notice that stuff is not right. And it also kind of shows like the first machine killing a human that led to the war, in other words. So is there anything you want to add, Nick?
I'm not really as familiar with the comics as you are, so like you're going to be leading that section, but I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Yeah, I still have to read the entire thing. I've read a bunch of them. Like there was one that goes one of the things. So the robot that kills a human and leads to the war, they actually do a court case. In other words, a court hearing about the robot, and they have the robot explain what it was thinking. And it turns out the master was abusive to the robot, so it was acting in self-defense.
Yeah,
that's what you have to realize.
On that Yeah, they definitely touch upon that in the Animatrix.
That's what you have to realize. And Nick and I will talk about the end of this month when we do Animatrix. The humans started this.
So I guess you could say they started the fire, and it was always burning.
But the Matrix universe, there's no worthy competitor, unlike in DC Comics. DC Comics is filled with powerful people, more powerful than... Yes, but here's the thing. If they're fighting in the Matrix again, you're fighting against someone that has the powers of a god. Essentially, you're fighting true form Darkseid at that point.
Yeah.
And you know how much I hype up true form Darkseid. Dr. Doom is Marvel, and you know, it started off a dance-off while Trinity snuck up behind him for a smackdown.
Dance-off, bro.
You and me. There you go. That's good. I love that. Master Sergeant, that gets a clip. That gets a clip.
Not impressed.
I mean, I'm impressed, but I just want to give you a badass clip. There you go. So, real quick, I want to go around and talk and give our general thoughts on the movie, how we rate it out of 10. I'll do it in Nick last because he's the obvious choice. But Teladia, your opinions on the movie and how you would rate it out of 10?
10 out of 10. My general thought is a great film, and it has so many great moments that makes it, you can make a real highlight reel from the movie. You can put it into clips for intros and stuff, which are really cool, which I really like about that film.
Hint. Yes, I know. I'll have it. I'll have clips next week.
You better,
Yeah.
especially reloaded clips.
There's plenty that I'm gonna grab from the Matrix.
By the way, one of them you need is okay. I want to go into the John Wick Matrix connections. So
okay, go ahead.
Actually, the director of John Wick was the stunt coordinator for the Matrix. So there's that. Also, you see a lot of the actors show up. Like the actor who played Agent Johnson in Reloaded is, I think, John Wick 1. And then obviously Lawrence Fishburne shows up. That's an obvious one. But in John Wick 3, the doctor who's patching him up is the keymaker from Reloaded. And then obviously in John Wick 3, you also have John Wick say the line, "Guns." Lots of guns.
Yeah, and by the way, all right. So Tevye is really hanging on to this. He said, "What about Spider-Girl, Mayday, Parker, Superboy, and Damian Wayne teaming up with
Tevye, you gotta stop with the Superboy."
And we never said team up. We said solo. That was the purpose of this experiment. In which case, still the machines win.
Tevye, you gotta stop with the Super Son thing, man.
I mean, can we give him points for at least trying? Like, I admire his persistence.
No, I appreciate that. I admire he's trying to find ways that they could win. Unfortunately, if they're fighting in the Matrix,
I appreciate his persistence. Like, seriously, that's respect, bro.
Yeah. And again, they're not teaming up with Trinity and Neo. It's just them. It's just them alone against the machines in the Matrix. But again, good try. I give it a 10 out of 10. This movie's fantastic. I love it. It's very much comic book inspired. This badass action, great VFX. JJheat.
100 out of 10. Perfect movie.
Oh, wow. All right, Nick, regale us.
7.5 out of 10. Too much kung fu fighting. I'm kidding. See, Ryan Johnson. That's how you subvert expectations. No, it's a
And by the way, I'm sorry, Nick. You did it again.
Why did you say that name?
That's what she said.
I need that clip from The Office of Michael just going, "That's what she said."
You really do.
I got so many clips I need.
So many.
I feel like once you got that clip, you'd be spamming it left and right every chance you got.
That's the way I am in real life, though. It's like whenever I get set up, I'm like, "That's what she said."
Jared,
Oh,
if
Moses,
you're dating a girl
Moses.
and she says, and she makes a "that's the she says" joke, if you do not marry her immediately, you're a freaking idiot.
Yeah, the minute I'm on a first date and she talks about Super Wonder, I'm on my knee at that point.
It's like, check, please. We're getting married.
Have you guys watched The Fourth Kind? If you guys watch the movie, can you discussion on that, just like today's topic, like the Matrix? Sure. I haven't seen The Fourth Kind.
I haven't either.
Neither have
Check
I.
that out. What's the fourth kind? Here, let me look that up real quick. The fourth kind. It's
there's
a
also
thriller
it's also-
involving a thriller
Sorry, go ahead.
involving an ongoing unsolved mystery in Alaska, where one town has seen an extraordinary number of unexplained disappearances during the. Oh, it casts Mia Jovovich.
Oh, okay.
It deals with alien abductions. Oh, interesting. And
that would probably be something we cover in like the Halloween era.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, in October we're going to cover like Aliens versus Predator and stuff.
More horror-based movies, kind of thing.
Yep. All right. So on that note, hope you guys enjoy this. Remember, next week we're covering Matrix 2. Remember that.
All right.
Reloaded.
Next week we get Reloaded.
Next week we reload our stuff. I lost my train of thought on that, but
Yes,
okay.
We grab our Desert Eagles and we put the clip in.
Time to fly.
Okay, Nick, I'm gonna say this once. It's called a magazine. It's called a freaking mag. It annoys me like you wouldn't believe when they
We're
say
going
clip.
off brand. End it now. We're going off
Now I'm
brand.
just gonna call the clip just to annoy you. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that there's something that annoys you. Now I can exploit it.
Ah, my gosh, Nick.
Excelsior.
Does anyone want to replace Nick as one of the co-hosts?
Tevye does. Tevye does.
I got you, Mike Barron, brother.
All right, see, I'm like joking. All right, stay at work, everyone. See you later. Excelsior. It's Morbin time.
Peace.